Good afternoon to you. You are welcome to the best month of the year. It's the 1st of June 2026, and this is Good Afternoon Ghana, coming live to you from the Ukuabwahema studio here at Northridge. My name is Helena Nyoja. This is what is making headlines for this afternoon. Recently passed anti-LGBT bill is inconsistent with what was presented to former President Akufo-Addo for assent, arguing the current bill has lost its force. Also coming up this afternoon, ECG begins major transformer replacement exercise at Bachona Primary Substation in Accra, aimed at improving power reliability and increasing network capacity. Now, the president of the National Union of Ghana Students joins us on Good Afternoon Ghana to speak on happenings in South Africa and how the union is ensuring the safety of Ghanaian students there. All of this coming up now. Please stay with us. Your time this afternoon. My name again is Helena Nyoja, and we start from here. The minority in Parliament, led by Asin South MP John Tim Fojo, has criticized a newly passed Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025, popularly known as the Anti-LGBTQ Bill, arguing that exemptions have rendered the legislation virtually ineffective. At a press conference, Fojo revealed that the bill underwent 31 amendments along with 22 deletions and insertions, significantly altering its original form. Here is his address.
We have called this press conference to ask a simple question, but very simple, but very serious questions, very serious questions on behalf of the Ghanaian people. And the question is, what changed? What has changed in our values from 2024? And what has changed now in 2026? Have Ghanaians changed their values on LGBT since 2024? If that has not changed, if nothing has changed in our value system, then the bill, 2 deletions and 31 insertions, total of 31 amendments, and expect that the bill is the same. You have overhauled it. It's just the title that is the same, and you all agree. So they have totally changed the bill, and now, today, the mighty minority in Parliament and the good people of Ghana are asking, what informed the NDC's change of mind? What informed their change of mind? Their sudden change of position. If that old bill was truly ready for President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo to sign, and if they sincerely believed in that bill, why was that same bill not placed before President Mahama, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the same form for him to assent? Why did they now have to water it down? Let the record reflect, and let no one twist our position. We are not against the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill. As a matter of fact, we have been consistent in our position and our principles. We are not against Parliament's authority to legislate, but we are not attacking MPs in any way. All that we are saying is that our concern is twofold. That the bill appears, and not only appears, substantially has lost the force and the bites and the thrusts, the deterrence, the efficacy that it contained and carried in 2024. Now, long story short, from the mantra of sign the bill now, the same people who signed the bill now are saying delete, amend, and insert the bill before assent. Why the change? Ladies and gentlemen, it is very serious what we are going to reveal to you, because all of us know that for 66 years now, since 1960, same-sex marriage has always been criminal. Not so. Man cannot marry man since 1960, according to the Criminal and Other Offences Act in 1960, and such things. And even preferred 10 years imprisonment, minimum 5 years. But today, NDC has smuggled in various amendments that go to make the bill counterproductive and lack the bite to clamp down on those who are advocating. I'll come to that in detail, but I want to give you evidence-based communication. When we say that 31 amendments were introduced, some people are doubting. Some CSOs and media are calling. Point us to those changes. What is different in this bill from the bill that was passed and expected that Akufo-Addo will sign? What are those changes? Please come with me. From clause 1 to clause 19. The bill is only a 19-clause bill. Small bill. Yet, 22 provisions were deleted and redrafted. 31 exceptions were made. So come with me to clause 1. Clause by clause evidence. Just a few examples. And here, let us have on the screen the order paper. The order paper of Friday, 29th May 2026. This yellow book. This is what Parliament officially advertised the amendments, the 31 amendments. And here, turn with me to page 33. Page 33, another very dangerous. Please hold on there.
Calm down.
Clause 3. Amendment proposed, sub-clause 1, paragraph F. Sub-paragraph 2. Delete and insert the following. Any other procedure that is intended to create a sexual category than the sexual category of the person determined at birth, except in the case of intersex. Why? The question is, what is wrong with this provision? That must be deleted and a new version inserted. What is the rationale and what is the justification? If it is not good today, was it good in 2024? And if it was good in 2024, what is bad about it in 2026? That it must change. So clause 3, amendment proposed, sub-clause 1, paragraph D, sub-paragraph 2, delete and insert the following. Any other procedure that is intended to create a category, so that's another, is a repetition. So the next one, clause 3, amendment proposed, sub-clause 3, delete and insert as follows. Now, please pay attention. Let us all go through critically. In delete an entire clause, sub-clause 3, and insert a whole new rendition. What was wrong with the previous? Now it says, for the purpose of this section, sexual intercourse occurs where a person, for sexual gratification, stimulates or penetrates the anus, mouth, or any other part of the body of a person of the same sex, and all these on the screen. So the question journalists and Ghanaians are asking those who deleted the previous one, the same provision they stood on air or radio platforms in the Chamber of Parliament to defend, the same people today are arguing for the deletion and insertion of a new one. New sub clause. What does that mean? This wasn't in the old bill. The old bill, they said sign the bill, sign the bill. We'll come and sign the bill. This was not in. They wanted to smuggle this in. And for the record, this was never discussed and at the committee. This was never discussed at consideration when the sponsors met the committee. And for the media, you are the same people. We knew well that these people, you can't trust them. These NDC government, you can't trust them. They promise one thing and they fail and do another thing. They are scam government, you can't trust them. So let us do the consideration. When we met at the committee, we went at Fiesta Royal and we carried you along with the live telecast. Please, can any media house show me a clip where under those considerations we agreed to or considered and accepted that there should be exemption created for certain categories of people and given the free pass to promote activities that engender, advocate for, and incentivize LGBT activities, and such people should be made to stand above the law? Who is above the law in this country? Any media house who can give me that clip, I'll be very grateful. And it's for that reason, in all transparency, we insisted that we do the considerations live. So if anybody says, oh, and a committee, they say it was your report, you went and considered it and they put it in, bring me that live telecast. And everything we discussed, Ghanaians were witnesses. So let us get to action. Add the following new subclause. Subsection 2 does not apply. Please, for emphasis, subsection 2 does not apply to the following categories of persons and institutions. A. So I want to read all the exemptions of subsection 2. Let us read what that subsection 2 of clause 9 says, so that Ghanaians, you all come along with us. That do you really think that such a clause should be maintained? Should that such a clause?
Now, away from that, the minority in Parliament has called for a permanent halt to the newly introduced 0.75% bank-to-wallet transfer charge, arguing that it was imposed without parliamentary approval. This follows the Bank of Ghana's directive to Mobile Money Fintech Limited to suspend the planned levy pending further stakeholder consultations. Speaking to journalists in Parliament on Friday, May 29, Minority Leader Alexander Penyomarkin stressed that no such charge should be implemented unless backed by an act of Parliament.
The government must eat a humble pie by apologizing to Ghanaians, the very people it promised, for breaking a solemn electoral promise. We conclude by saying that in 2022, President Mahama reminded Ghanaians that mobile money carries remittances to parents in the villages, pays for goods in the market, and helps traders restock. Taxing those transactions, he said, taxes the vulnerable, not the wealthy. Those market women are still there, President Mahama. Those mobile money agents are still there, President Mahama. They voted for relief because you made them trust you. You looked them in their eye and you promised them. So President Mahama and your government, keep your promise. That promise you made is broken through this imposition of 0.75% charge, not through a debated policy reversal, but through a quiet maneuver designed to achieve what could not survive scrutiny. Obviously, the government knows that this policy cannot survive scrutiny in broad daylight. President Mahama once called the e-levy a slap in the face of Ghanaian workers. We ask him simply, what does he call it now? Now that the hand doing the slapping is his own. The MPP Mighty Minority Caucus will use every constitutional, legislative, and democratic avenue to kill this backdoor levy for good. There is nothing like consultation. We do not accept it.
Away from that, President John Mahama has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to strengthening ties with the Ghanaian diaspora. He says citizens living abroad should be empowered to play a more active role in national development and governance. Speaking at a town hall meeting in London, the president urged Ghanaians considering a return home to plan carefully before relocating, stressing that migration should be viewed not only as a source of brain drain, but also as an opportunity for brain gain through the transfer of skills, knowledge, and investment.
Hundreds of Ghanaians, investors, professionals, and business leaders at the Ghana Diaspora Town Hall meeting in London, President Mahama outlined his administration's vision for transforming Ghana. He said government remained committed to ensuring that all citizens, including those in the diaspora, had opportunities to contribute meaningfully to the country's development.
And so there's brain drain and there's brain gain. The thing, and this is what I say about migration. Somebody says, why did you come to our country? Human beings from time immemorial have been very mobile. All of us were created in Africa. Human civilization started in Africa. And then our cousins, the British, migrated and came here. The Chinese migrated and went there. Everybody migrated to somewhere else. So I think that it is that diversity. And our elders say,
he said Ghana's exit from the IMF positions Ghana as a model for economic recovery among developing countries.
Everything that government had agreed with them was off track. And so it meant that between then and when the fund arrived for the main review, we had to take very, very strong decisions. And that is why the Minister of Finance told you that we had to take quite stringent, bitter decisions. But that is what life is about. When you are ill, sometimes you have to take bitter medicine before you get better. And I'm happy, as he said, to say that the sacrifices that Ghanaians made had paid off.
He stressed the importance of unity on the African continent.
We've always pushed for African unity, and so it's sad to see some of the things that are happening on the continent. There's no way that any African country can achieve the kind of progress that it needs without working with other countries. We cannot achieve it in isolation. And that is why we passed the African Continental Free Trade Area, so that our people can invest in each other's countries, our people can move freely amongst each other's countries. Ghana is actioning this.
The meeting formed part of efforts to strengthen engagement with Ghanaians abroad and reinforce partnerships that support the country's long-term development goals.
And President John Mahama has attributed flooding in Accra to indiscipline, plastic waste disposal, and construction on waterways rather than engineering challenges. Speaking at a Diaspora Town Hall meeting in London, addressing the Ghana Diaspora Town Hall meeting in London on President Mahama, now he said that although the city has drainage systems, human behavior continues to worsen flooding problems.
The flooding in Accra is not an engineering problem. It is just a problem of indiscipline. It's not an engineering problem, it's a problem of indiscipline. We have drains, and everybody says, why don't you do sealed drains? But the problem is when we do sealed drains, people drink sachet water, they eat papaya in those styrofoam plastics, and they just dump them anywhere, and these plastics wash into the drain and they go and block the drain. And so if you have to unclog the drain, you have to remove all the drain covers and clean it out. You clean it out, you cover it again. In the next 3, 4, 5 months they have clogged again. But that is not even the major problem. The major problem is the location of Accra. You have the Kwapim mountain range and you have the Atlantic Ocean. Before people came to Accra, you had the Lafa stream, you had the Densu, you had the Sakumo stream, you had the Kole stream, you had the Odo stream. All of them were rainwater that falls in the mountains that flow through to the Atlantic Ocean. Then you come and build a city in the path of those streams. What do you expect the streams to do? And even if you build, leave the causeways. If you come to London, you see the canals in the city. If you go and build a house in that canal, where will the water go? It will go back into people's houses. Unfortunately, Nana Misremu, our traditional rulers are selling plots in streams.
Now, President Dramani Mahama has announced that the government will procure match tickets for Ghanaians living abroad who wish to support the Black Stars at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Speaking at a diaspora town hall meeting on Sunday, May 31, the president said the initiative is aimed at enabling Ghanaian communities in host cities to attend matches and cheer on the national team during the tournament. We apologize for the technical challenges there. We'll get back to that story again. Now, Minister for Finance, Kasiola Toforsin, has assured Ghanaians in the diaspora of government's commitment to sustain the gains being made in the Ghanaian economy. According to him, although Ghanaians inherited a poor economy from the NPP, the NDC has been able to turn around the country, urging support and investments from the diaspora.
But let me say that President Mahama inherited a terrible economy, an economy in difficult times. And colleagues, let me use this opportunity to remind you of some of the things that the country went through back in 2022. Ghana went through a very difficult economic crisis in a lifetime. I do not recall that our country had ever gone through such level of economic crisis. But the good news is that today our country is back. We are back. President Mahama, upon assuming office, took steps, difficult decisions, some extremely bitter. But in the end, we all recognize that prudence works. But let me share some of the outturn with you. I'm pleased to report that as a result of the measures that President Mahama took, today GDP growth is back. Ghana has recorded a GDP growth of 6% in the year 2025. And most importantly, non-oil GDP growth was 7.6%, the highest in 14 years. For the first time, Ghana's economy has crossed $100 billion United States dollars threshold, making it a fully fledged emerging economy. Ghana's economy is now ranked the 8th largest economy in the entire of Africa. And our GDP per capita is today 3,385 Ghana cedis, US dollars for the first time. I'm also proud to inform you that our debt is now sustainable, unlike the past. Thanks to the central bank, the monetary policy rate has also declined by 1,300 basis points from 27% in January to now 14% in April. The current account balance recorded a surplus, and this is extremely important. We were seeing persistent current account deficit, but for last year, we saw a current account surplus of 8.3% of GDP in 2025. And this is programmed to achieve double digit, 10% plus by the year 2026, this year.
Let's now turn our attention to other matters as concerns over xenophobia in South Africa and its impact on Ghanaians living there continue to dominate discussions. Two guests on Good Morning Ghana have been weighing in on the response of both governments and the broader implications for the continent.
The discussion focused on the treatment of Ghanaians in South Africa, the role of political leaders in addressing growing public frustrations, and the need for stronger action to prevent xenophobic attacks from escalating. Former United Nations Senior Mediation Advisor Emmanuel Bombade says political leaders must reflect on the growing disappointment among citizens. He's calling for a continental response to xenophobia and the matter on the agenda of the African Union.
When our own citizens live in fear, they cannot leave their homes, their businesses, some of them destroyed and looted. The first thing is you secure them, you protect them, and the best way is to bring them back home. And that is what is happening. And that is why I think that whereas I will credit Julius Malema as the only South African politician who was consistent in being against the xenophobic behavior, he misspoke by saying that Ghana was rushing too early to evacuate their citizens. It is a mark of the good governance that we are presently witnessing, in which every Ghanaian, and the foreign minister has made those statements, you don't mess with any Ghanaian anywhere. We will be able to demonstrate that we care for our own, and that is what has happened.
Former Ambassador to India Michael Quay Jr. believes that government of Ghana has handled the situation appropriately. He, however, argues that the South African government has not been decisive enough and says proper screening measures should be put in place for returnees.
Honorable Julius Malema, yes, he said a few things, but when he said that Ghanaians should come back to their senses, I disagree with that. Because it is in the application of our senses that the government has taken the right step to evacuate Ghanaians. Because we need to be able, where there's conflict, and especially where there's no peace, to give security to our nationals. Now, we have people who are threatening and giving deadlines of June 30th, that if all the foreigners are not out by that date, they are going to harm them. I don't see any official statement from the government rebutting that. I don't see any government official saying that the police are going to be on the street and any citizen who does that is going to be so. They've evacuated 300 people so far and they are going to evacuate more. So that is a positive. And it's a good thing that the government has.
Ghana and South Korea have signed a historic visa waiver agreement covering the holders of diplomatic and service passports, marking a significant milestone in bilateral relations between the two countries. The agreement was signed with South Korea's Foreign Minister Cho Hon on the sidelines of the ongoing Africa-Korea Foreign Ministers meeting.
Signed alongside South Korea's Foreign Minister Jo Hoon and is expected to ease travel requirements for diplomats and government officials, facilitating stronger engagement and collaboration. According to the Foreign Affairs Minister, the visa waiver arrangement represents another important milestone in Ghana's efforts to strengthen international partnerships and promote closer diplomatic, economic, and cultural exchanges. Officials believe the agreement will improve the efficiency of official visits, policy consultations, and cooperation initiatives while opening new opportunities for enhanced relations across various sectors. The signing comes as African and Korean leaders continue discussions aimed at expanding trade, investment, technology transfer, education, and development cooperation between South Korea and countries across the African continent. The latest agreement underscores the growing partnership between Ghana and South Korea and signals a renewed commitment.
Now, the Electricity Company of Ghana has begun a major transformer replacement exercise at the Bachana Primary Substation in Accra as part of a nationwide program aimed at improving power reliability and increasing network capacity. The project, which costs 34 million cedis, involves replacing 2 power transformers with higher capacity units to meet growing electricity demand in the area, where about 70% of customers are industrial consumers.
We've commenced the replacement of our power transformers from 2026 MVA to 3039 MVA. As you are aware, this is not just a residential community, but also has some industries. So it's important that as a proactive measure, we increase the capacity so as to have a reliable and stable power supply in this area. It is also part of the government transformer replacement and upgrade program, which is we are receiving support from the Ministry of Energy. We hope that after these replacements, amongst others, we'll be able to have a very strong network, reliable power supply, and also a very stable one. The issue of intermittent power outages, low current, would also be a thing of the past. I also want to urge our customers that we are in the rainy season, so we urge them to avoid getting close to flooded areas, especially where there are visible broken poles or falling conductors or any of our equipment or installations. It's very dangerous. So we urge our customers to avoid getting close to these areas.
So the old transformers, we've earmarked other substations where we'll be installing we'll be moving the old transformers to. So for example, what we did at Akwetia, it is one of the old transformers that we moved to Akwetia. And we'll be moving one of them to South Pond. We'll move one to Tema. And so we've earmarked areas for the old transformers. So Accra, we are looking at 22 substations. So by the end of June, we'll be receiving more of these 3039 transformers, and then we'll upgrade all the other 22 substations. For the replacement of these 2 transformers, we are spending about 34 million Ghana cedis for the installation of the 2 transformers.
Away from that, Ghana Private Road Transport Union, together with other commercial transport operators, have announced a 20% upward adjustment in fares. The fare adjustments, which takes effect nationwide, covers churches, intercity buses, and shared taxi services.
Announcing the increment on Friday, May 29, the GPRTU and other commercial transport operators said the move followed extensive consultations with stakeholders. They explained that surging fuel prices and the high cost of maintaining vehicles have placed significant pressure on transport operators. Rising prices of tires, batteries, engine oil, and spare parts were among the key reasons cited for the increase. The driver unions argue that maintaining the existing fares under current economic conditions would be unfair to transport operators. The Executive Secretary of Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Duncan Amwa, has also justified the 20% increase in public transport fares, arguing that the adjustment is warranted in light of the mounting cost faced by operators. Meanwhile, the Deputy Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry and Member of Parliament's Transport Committee has reiterated government's commitment to tackling the root causes of increasing transport fares, especially fuel prices, and the rise in operational costs confronting commercial transport operators. According to him, government is working to strengthen the transport sector by boosting the number of vehicles available to private operators, while also addressing key cost drivers affecting the industry. The government is focused on acquiring more vehicles to complement the efforts of the private sector.
That's our wrap up for the news updates here on Good Afternoon Ghana. We really appreciate your time. My name is Helena Nyeweja, and this month, Okweku Danso is standing by for more after this break. Do stay.
Through every stage of life, some things simply stay with us. The spirit of never giving up. A throwback to a bygone era when love was service. A silent statement of love. A thoughtful gesture that deepens bonds, balancing work and life. Every drop refreshes, every sip hydrates, just as it should. I am awake, one for life. Drink water, drink awake. Supporting the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is FDA approved.
As the days come and go, there's always shit. Let colleagues explore all the planetary bodies. Our mission is in Uranus to treat hemorrhoids, anal fistula, anal fissure, anal incontinence, hidradenitis suppurativa, using laser Legasure for pain-free and speedy recovery. On Uranus Street, Accra, is Main Tuber Hospital and Coloproctology Center. Trust Uranus with us and we will delight you. Visit Main Tuber Hospital today or call us on 0244 581 541.
It's me, Azar.
Yeah, me now they see. Hey, you don't look fresh. Oh.
Hey.
When your label today,
wait till you see what's inside me.
Azar, freshly made inside and out for greater coverage and colors that last longer and beautify your walls, spaces and places. Azar, no size. Go ahead. Buy now. Azar, #1 from Azar Group since 1921.
This Easter, Estate Masters Limited is giving you more reasons to celebrate in our extended Easter promo. Secure your dreamland at Nest Cottage, Tripoli with a massive 15% discount. Or choose Palm Hills, Gomwa Pamfukurum, also at 15% discount. And for lovers of the coast, Coastal Park, Ningo Prampram awaits you at 10% discount. Plus, enjoy free site visits and free documentation because we make land ownership simple. This Easter, don't just celebrate, invest in your future. Estate Masters Limited, your most preferred estate partner.
It's a brand new month, and so happy new month to
all of you, our cherished viewers. Thank you so much for always tuning to the program here. Welcome to live from our studios here at North Region Accra and transmitting across our social media handles on Facebook, Metro TV Ghana, also on DSTV channel 277. You can join us live on there, and then you can also join us on radio 94.1 FM. You can tune if you're stepping out. Tune in to 94.1 FM so you do not miss out on the conversations on the show today. So coming up on the show today, we're going to have a very big conversation about the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill. Since Friday, when we got to know that Parliament had passed the bill, it's caused a lot of controversies, in fact, lots of conversations about it, about some of the elements of the bill that were taken out according to the minority, and of course for the majority, as we had from the majority leader in the House. They say that the president said he was going to do this, and this is it, he has done that. So today we will talk about that. We'll take a look at some of the issues regarding this particular bill. And then later on the show, we'll talk about rent. The National Union of Ghana Students is doing something about the rent situation for students. And of course, what is happening in South Africa also. They will be telling us what exactly they're doing about the situation in regards to Ghanaian students who are in South Africa. So from now to 2 p.m., we are on to have this conversation. So do want to stay with us. Right. I have the Honorable Nana Asafo-Adjei Ayes, Member of Parliament for Bosome Frehon, and he joins me in studio as we hear from him about this bill. What exactly is the minorities' issue with the bill? We'll talk about that and get into all other details, but definitely you can join us with your messages on our social media handles, Metro TV Ghana. Before I introduce him and officially speak to him, let's take a look at the bill and some of the things that have been mentioned that are the amendments made to this particular bill as compared to the bill that was sent to Parliament earlier. So you see that on your screen. So key changes in this particular bill. So it's talking about the bill now extends beyond persons identifying as LGBTQ+ to include individuals involved in the advocacy, promotion, sponsorship, support, or funding of activities prohibited under this particular bill. And then you'd see that Clause 9 has been revised to explicitly criminalize, the promotion of LGBTQ activities, which you see there. And down there you see more detailed definitions. So the interpretation section has been expanded to provide clearer definitions of terms including ally, non-binary, queer, pansexual, intersex, and many others, as is in this particular bill. So there is a bit about the Clause 9 that I want to... So it says that the Clause 9... Okay, let's move. It says that the most significant amendment is the introduction of exemptions for certain professional and public interest activities. Under the revised bill, the law would not apply to lawyers providing legal advice or representation, journalists and media houses reporting on the LGBTQ+ issues in the ordinary course of their work, doctors, psychologists and counselors providing professional services, researchers, academics and scientists expressing professional opinions, public health programs including HIV and AIDS prevention, testing and treatment, and proceedings in court, Parliament and commissions of inquiry. Right, so those are some of the changes as we've seen from this particular bill. And then later I'll be reading some of the opinions shared on social media from various members of Parliament and also some other persons who have been following this particular bill. And so I'll get into that in a bit. Let's speak to Honorable Nana Asafo-Adjei Ayes. Honorable, welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana, and a happy new month to you.
Thank you, thank you. I've been watching your show, just that I've not been here before. This is actually my first time.
Ooh.
being on your show.
Right.
I must commend you and your team for doing a good job.
Right. Thank you very much.
We are grateful.
So, thank you very much for coming through. And I must say that I'm also happy about your, in this case, I'll say your small boy, Alan. Yeah, he's a mate from school, from UCC, and
nice.
I've seen him doing a lot of other things also. Following your stead. So
really?
You've been teaching.
I think he's even what do you call it, overtaking me.
Oh really?
I think so. I think there are things he will do and undo.
Okay, that one I agree. That one I agree. Honorable, how's the session been? In Parliament, it's just been a few weeks now.
I think that it hasn't been bad. We just came, I think, barely 2 weeks. My only little worry is it appears to me, this is my view, not the minority's view, not anybody's view. I feel that it appears to me the government and majority were not ready for the sitting or for the session. I think they were in a hurry to do something, because when you get to the house, it appears as though they are not really ready with government business. Numbers are not coming. This morning we made prayers and then started the house. There were about 11 people in the house, with about 4 minority and about 6 or 7 majority. About 187 members of parliament. Only about 7 were in the chamber. They had to adjourn after taking prayers on everybody because of the numbers. They go back sometimes. So I don't know whether, that's my opinion. Right? So it is not really encouraging those of us who really want to come. Sometimes they will tell you we are coming on at 10. You'll be there and then, nothing happens. Yeah. So that is my only problem. But apart from that, we are doing business. We are opposition and we are making the necessary input that we need to do. Right. We are critiquing the government where we have to. We are preferring solutions and suggestions where we have to do. We are being constructive in our dealings as minority or as opposition or as a government in waiting.
Right. Let me also state that the Member of Parliament for Effiang will be joining us, Isaac Bamanyako will be joining us, so we can tackle this particular issue. But just before we get into the bill, the flag bearer for the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, met the Minority Caucus. He's been talking about the minority and what you could do to help him to win power in 2028. With that meeting, what exactly for you personally and for the caucus did you take from Dr. Bawumia that this is what in this session we'll be doing to help him and his bid to become president of the country?
Okay, so his position was clear. It was clear, straightforward. Marching orders. 1, we have healed, and we are now ready to govern.
Okay.
We suffered defeat. We went to an election. We suffered a huge loss. We cannot be wailing and crying over the loss all through, all time, all day. So we must, at this point, heal and then now begin to position ourselves as government in waiting, which is what we need to do. Number 2, we must, at every point in time, when we are commenting on the floor, when we are making statement on the floor, when we are contributing to government business, we must always have one thing in common, or one thing at the back of our mind, that this would have been how MPP would have done it better, or this would have been our solution, or this is the solution we are professing. Every time, whenever we are commenting or doing government business. Then 3, we must also be factual, bold, strong in holding the government feet to fire, to dealing with the promise or the key deliverables that he promised Ghanaians he was going to do. So basically, these are marching orders that he gave the party. He gave the members of parliament, the 87 of us. And we believe that, I have been saying it, we cannot do the numerical argument. We can only do the substance argument because we do not have the numbers to do the numerical argument. We don't have it. When we put anything, so my senior will tell you, when you are debating anything, even bill, when we are making bills, and then there are amendments, and you are proposing an amendment, all they need to do to you to tell you, yes, as many as who agree that this one stand as part of the bill, say, yeah, you will see them saying quiet. When it is against, I say no. You see the entire of them,
They'll be louder than all of you
saying no. So that is what we suffer. But what is important is that we make the point. The Hansard captures the point we made, so that future we can rely on some of the points we made, so that Ghanaians will not say that, what did you say? You were quiet. You didn't say anything. We didn't hear you say anything. But when we speak, it will go to the Hansard. Records will capture that this was our position to this particular issue. So I think that is how.
Right. Thank you very much. A member of your caucus is also here. Honorable Isaac Boamanyako is MP for Effiam. Honorable, welcome to Good Afternoon, Ghana. Happy New Month to you too.
Thank you, Desmond, for having me.
Yes. How's it going in Parliament? I was asking your colleague here. Well, it's just been 2 weeks coming back into Parliament, and how's it been?
Yeah, the most controversial now issue has to do with how we pass the anti-LGBTI bill. But importantly, coming back to this particular meeting, the focus is more on the mid-year budget review that we will be expecting the Minister for Finance to brief the House on. Beyond that, the majority leader, who is the leader of government business, have hinted some couple of legislations that will be coming before us. Already we've commenced also the community service bill, which seeks to provide some non-custodial sentencing to those who commit some categories of offenses. So it looks very interesting looking at this meeting, but it wouldn't be a long meeting though. And let me just take the opportunity to also wish, say a good afternoon to our listeners and our viewers, to the people of Effiam, and also to our soon-to-be President of the Republic, His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. He's, as I met my colleagues say, he's given us very clear direction as a minority in Parliament. He says that we should exhibit the point that we are a government in waiting, because at such a time, Ghanaians are looking for a very strong alternative to the things that are happening in Ghana today. And MPP should stand tall in coming up with very pragmatic solutions and alternatives to the things that are happening in Ghana today. And that is the position that we are all taking as members of Parliament and as a party, that we represent a very strong voice that speaks to the issues of Ghanaians, that seeks to project the interest and the well-being of the good people of Ghana. And the Ghanaian people should also trust that the MPP is really up to take over the reins of government come 2029.
Right. Thank you very much, Honorable MP for Effiam. Let's get into the proper conversation about the bill. First, Honorable, let me ask you, how do you feel about the bill being passed? Are you happy?
So basically, let me be clear.
Okay.
We have never been against the bill. We have never been against the bill. In fact, this is not the first time the bill has been passed. During the 8th Parliament, the bill was passed. So nothing new has happened. What was so different, or people were expecting, was the assent to the bill.
To the bill.
That is where the bone of contention was. Now let me do a little background, briefly. Now, the MPP as a political party, never in our history, in 2026, our manifesto, there was nowhere in our manifesto we mentioned LGBTQ. In 2020, we never did. It was not one of the things that we promised Ghana. Somewhere along the line, some 9 NDC members, plus Reverend Intim Fojuo, 10, brought a private member's bill. Just like my brother A+ want to bring a bill to say that when you give birth, we should do a DNA test. So they brought a private member bill, worked on, prepared by them, to the House. Remember too that at the time, the House was sharply divided and a hot-headed House. No one was listening. 2, if you recall, anybody that intends or tries to speak on any of the clauses, being it suggesting a tweak, being it suggesting a removal, being it interpreting, if you became the enemy of the bill. One classical example is Honorable Anyimedu. He nearly lost his seat because he was tagged as anti-LGBTQ. A lot of people were trying to make inputs, but at a point, Mr. Speaker, ask the entire House, if you are against the bill, rise up.
Nobody got up?
That was how the whole bill became contentious. Some judge would not listen to anything. He defended everything, and the bill got passed. Some stakeholders who were not happy with some of the amendments and the things we are doing now took the bill to court, and the court injuncted Parliament from transmitting the bill to the President. The court injuncted Parliament. That was where there was a serious banter between the Speaker and the Chief Justice.
Right.
Then the Speaker was trying to prove that Parliament is independent and they can do their own thing. They won't take instructions from the Chief Justice or the court. So, in line of trying to transmit that injuncted bill to the President, the Secretary of the President wrote to remind the Speaker that, hey, there is an injunction on the bill. If you won't listen to the injunction, we will. We do not want to be contemptuous of the court, so do not transmit the bill to us. And lo and behold, today, after elections, President Mahama now admitted that the bill never got to the President. So the minority opposition is still here. One, we were sold a narrative, or Ghanaians were sold a narrative, that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo then was the blockade to assenting this bill. We were told that everything thereof of this bill was okay and ready and fit for purpose by the sponsors, the NDC sponsors, that the bill was fit for purpose. Nobody wanted to listen to anybody. Some judge defended everything in this country. So they took advantage of it and then got all the Christian Council, whoever behind them, victimized the MPP, and the MPP suffered defeat.
Okay.
You come to power. Now you notice that the bill you wanted Akufo-Addo to sign, the bill was not fit for purpose. You now come to power and you now notice that, oh, there are some definitions we have to define well. You now come to power and realize that, oh, there are some people we should even exempt them. If we are going into detail, we'll look at it.
Right, we'll get into that.
You now come to power and realize that, oh, we could have done this, we could have tweaked this well, we could have done this well. So the point we are saying is that, one, the bill you wanted the Akufo-Addo to sign is not the same bill you are asking Mahama or you are taking to Mahama to sign. The two bills are not the same. Two, why, if you knew that there were fundamental issues or fatal clauses in the bill, why were you pushing Akufo-Addo to sign?
But Honorable, the question also is that were these concerns raised back then in terms of some of the clauses in the bill that had to be amended?
I think you didn't listen to my background. I told you. I mentioned Anyimedu.
Right.
That he suffered the faith. I mentioned a lot of stakeholders. One famous person who died was the lawyer for Akufo-Addo, Sheshe. I don't know his. Ampao. Akoto Ampao. Look at the issues Akoto Ampao and colleagues raised on this LGBTQ bill. Look at the things they were discussing. These are the fundamental things today. You feel that we could have listened to. So now, the controversy in the bill, then you've watered it down. Two, you see, the people who would have been affected by the bill. All other clauses in this bill, my senior would tell you, I am not a lawyer. I am not a member of the committee. I am not a sponsor of the bill. I am just putting the records together and reading and checking here and here. Now, if you check this bill, you will notice that all other provisions in this bill can be found in other bills. The Children's Act, Marriage Act, all other acts have these parts and bits of this. Our constitution is even clear on LGBTQ. So we do not need a law. Are you getting that? What prompted and necessitated the law was it got to a point in this country, then you could openly see billboards of promotion of LGBT rights.
There were a number of them.
You could see people sponsoring. You could see people funding. You could see people advocating, to the point that we were even being advised or forced, whatsoever you want to do, to put it in our textbooks.
Some of the textbooks that we've seen.
So this law, the MENSRA, was to curb the funding, the sponsoring, the advocating, the promotion. I don't know if you get my point.
Right, I get
that
it.
was the reason why we brought the bill. Hitherto, we didn't need the bill because we have all of them scattered across our laws. We could just pick them and put them together and use it.
Honorable.
So when you now bring a bill or go to amend the bill, and the potency or the reason for your bill is now watered down, then you didn't achieve the aim of passing the bill, or you don't need to pass the bill. I don't know if you to get it. Let me pick it up. We'll go there. You see, the bone of contention here is the clause 9, and
clause
this is the old one. This is the 8th Parliament clause 9. Okay, so let me read where the changes are. It said, clause 9.2. This is the subheading of the clause 9. Prohibition of propaganda, promotion of an advocacy of activity prohibited under this act. So this is the crux of the act or the law. Now, clause 9 says that, clause 9.2a, a person shall not A, promote or support any act prohibited under this act. B, engage in, participate in, promote or support an act aimed at changing public opinion towards an act prohibited under this act, or offer premises or any other movable or immovable asset to provide any form of assistance for purposes of promoting an act prohibited under this act. Listen, so this is the crux. In this 8th Parliament bill, it gave no room. Let us also be mindful of the fact that it was not as if the 8th Parliament bill was going to jail lawyers who were providing legal service. No.
Okay.
It was not as if the 8th Parliament bill was going to jail nurses who were treating LGBTQ, what do you call it? People,
persons.
It was not as if this bill
was going to jail some of us.
Was going to jail a journalist reporting on an LGBTQ issue. It was not.
Okay.
But now you introduce a bill, an amendment that is exempting 9 categories of people. So to say that publication of academic, scientific, and medical research finding. So you think if somebody is an advocate, a promoter, he cannot promote LGBTQ through his academic findings? You think he cannot do that? He can do that.
Yeah.
But you are exempting him. You think, where do we find write-ups to read about LGBTQ? These are written by academics. These are written by research findings. So why do you now come out to now single him out and give him protection by exempting him from this act, from this 9? Who were going to prosecute or jail a legal person, or my brother is a lawyer,
who represents anybody,
who is representing anybody within that category? Nobody. But now you are telling him that he's exempted, and in the line of doing his professional job, if the person is bad, he can use it to promote LGBTQ. That is the crux of the argument we are having here.
Okay.
That the NGOs, the development partners, who are the major target of the sponsoring, the advocates, all these ones, you are exempting.
You're exempting them. I get that point. Let me bring in Honorable Isaac Boamanyako. So a colleague of mine wrote on Facebook, and I want to read this, says that I was in Parliament when this bill was relayed. I was there when the principles of the bill was debated at the second reading stage. I was there when the first amendments were passed. I was there when the disagreement on some exemptions came up, and I was there when the bill was passed. The only significant change to this deeply problematic bill is the insertion of a clause exempting journalists, lawyers, and other professionals whose work might otherwise be deemed promotion of the LGBTQ activities. But pause and consider what that tells us. If a lawyer defends an accused person in an LGBTQ-related matter, why would anyone seek to characterize that as promotion of the act and criminalize it accordingly? If an academic protected by the long-established principle of academic freedom researches all rights on the subject, why would that freedom be curtailed? If a journalist editorializes in the course of their work, why would that be an offense? The answer, of course, is that it would not survive constitutional scrutiny, and that's where I want to bring you in. Had those exemptions not been inserted, every one of those provisions would have been struck down as unconstitutional. The exemptions were a legal necessity to make a very problematic bill less problematic. It is also dishonest to suggest the majority side has introduced amendments that watered down the bill originally passed in the previous parliament. If that original bill was so sound, so fit for purpose, why did the very sponsors of the bill not present the same document to this parliament? They made changes themselves before reintroducing it to this parliament. Lawyer.
So the writer of this statement has made some points but contradicted at some level as well. And that goes to the core of exactly what did we intend to achieve.
Right.
Are we doing this because we just want to show political capital that this was a campaign promise? We needed to do that because we used it against the then government. Is it a real commitment by government and the sponsors of the bill that they really want to curtail the promotion of LGBTI activities in this country? And so that is the context in which I come in. And as a lawyer, looking at all the provisions pre-2026, as in the one that appeared before the 8th Parliament, and the ones that we have just passed as at last Friday, you could see clearly that there's an intention on the part of the majority as well as the government to provide some clear exemptions to certain activities that ordinarily are seen as major promoters of this particular LGBT activities in Ghana. And why would they do that? Because even at the time that the old bill was being considered, everybody knew that we don't live in isolation, and we have some development partners or countries who have interest in these things. And so if you go all out to pass a legislation that criminalizes and condemns activities of civil societies, donor partners, NGOs, amongst others, then you are not going to get the needed financial support from those countries. And that is exactly what Mohammed's government have done. Because in this bill, you clearly see a complete exemption. The exemption is not clear. It's not giving any clarity as to which activities of those NGOs, academia, journalists, amongst others, that the bill frowns upon. And like you indicated and has been stated, the previous bill already made reference to the Constitution that's subject to the 1992 Constitution.
Okay.
So, and in my engagement on another platform, I said, the Constitution is the bigger law that governs this country. And any law that is inconsistent with the 1992 Constitution is null and void. And when it comes to freedom of expression and speech, media freedom, about legal representation, these are all constitutional provisions. You don't need a legislation to tell me that when I go and represent a client in a legal matter, nobody can hold it against me for performing my legal function. But that is different from the heading that speaks about propagation or trying to encourage or trying to use that office to promote the activities of LGBT. But this exemption doesn't clearly define those parameters.
So, lawyer, I was coming to that is it not more of a definition of the parameters and trying to close it up than leaving it vague? And then, I mean, per whatever I could sit here and say something, it may not be me advocating for it, but I'm reporting on activities of some persons engaged in LGBTQ, and per whoever would listen to me would take it whichever way from their perspective. Wouldn't that rather be a worry?
You see, the difficulty is when you create exemption, somebody has to now interpret and determine the scope of the exemptions because it's so defined. But when you subject it under the Constitution is already clear in terms of what kind of activities that you are legitimately involved, supposed to conduct yourself. So if you as a journalist, prior to this exemption, if you conduct yourself in a manner that is deemed as promoting the activities of LGBT,
deemed by
no, because your utterance, your statement, your action, your activities, whoever will pick it as in the security agencies, because they have the power and it is the Attorney General that will prosecute. So the Attorney General would have taken those actions, those activities, and measured it to the definition of what constitutes propagation, what constitutes promotion. So when he is bringing that matter against you in court, then it is the substance of your activity that is being tested in court.
Not your activity.
But now, if we say that journalists are exempted, somebody now has to come and prove that that activity that you are doing is
in promotion of...
Exactly. But if you bar it, if you have left it as it were in the old rendition, the burden to challenge someone's promotion or otherwise would have been on you, because when the Attorney General files a matter against you, you have to now determine that you have not run foul to the law.
Are we not going to be guarded in what we have to be doing? Like academics, when they are going to write, they've got to be very careful. When I'm speaking about LGBTQ or reporting on it, now I would have to be thinking, am I going to go against it? Is that?
No, you see, there wasn't any gagging, and I agree that, of course, in passing legislation, you should pass it with some level of clarity. You don't give room for ambiguity. You don't give room for absurdity. And so that is why the omnibus constitution that we are using is clear, protecting your fundamental freedom as a journalist, freedom of expression, freedom of speech, media freedom, and the rest. Those media freedom and the rest, they were not defined to tell you that this and that and that and that is what you do that amounts to media freedom. It is for the court, depending on your activity and your action, that would have to be subjected to whether it constitutes an infringement upon a particular law or it is against media freedom, to be determined by the court. But when you create this blanket exemption, it means that if someone is doing any activity like the research, let's say someone is performing an academic function, and in his research, he makes certain statements or he does his research to promote activities of LGBTQI in his research, because of course all the researchers are funded and they are funded by various
some of these
exactly and they have an objective. It doesn't come so clearly for you to know that this is the end result of the research. But research is supposed to promote certain agenda, promote certain interests, put certain lines. That is why even in terms of the curricula, when it came out that there are certain wordings in there. These are clearly thought through to give you certain perspective to an end.
Okay.
So let's not provide the avenue where you are going to embolden certain people in academia to hide behind academic research to do certain things, and now it will be difficult for us to go after them. Okay. When if you had stopped or you had not provided that blanket exemption, everybody will now be guided to make sure that you have academic freedom, you have research freedom, but don't use your research freedom and your academic freedom into activities that we see as going to promote activities of LGBT, which we frown upon. So,
well, if you just tuned in, this is Good Afternoon, guys. We're talking about the anti-LGBTQI plus bill that was passed in Parliament last Friday, and I have Honorable Aye. I was coming to you, Honorable Aye.
So to add to it,
right?
You see, I have heard people arguing that, oh, it is good to protect the rights of the lawyers. It is good to protect the right of the journalists. It is good to do all these ones. The flip question now is, so you see, if this is true or something to go by, then President Akufo-Addo saved this country from a fatal bill which was not going to protect you or protect lawyers.
But I thought we said it didn't get to the president.
That is the flip side of the discussion.
Okay.
That's the flip side of the discussion. But you see, the point is clear that you knew these things, yet you were pushing and creating the narrative that the bill was a complete bill. All it needed was a signature. All it needed was a signature. Now you come to power, sign it. No, I'm not signing. Let me review and amend it first before I sign it. That is dishonesty for me. Now, let me take you to another part. I'll come back to the whole Section 3 that have been taken out.
Okay.
But you see, the first thing they raised in the proposed amendment borders on Clause 1. Clause 1 of the bill. Now, it is saying that this is the application. This bill applies to a person. Then there is a general phrase there, who holds out us. Now, this is the meaning of somebody who holds out us. A suggestion giving others the impression that someone possesses. So it is an impression.
So the person may not be, but you
may not be. By you seeing his actions, seeing his ways, his style, his dressing, you would hold out us. I don't know if you get it.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, so now this is completely different from the new one that you are proposing that says that the person must identify or profess. So the person must tell you that he is a gay or must identify as such. The two, it's not the same. The point is that if you knew that this one is bad or this one is journalistic or this one does not really addresses the things that you sought to do, why were you pushing Akufo-Addo to sign it?
Honorable, so the question is, I saw Reverend Tim Fojo at the press conference last week where he was complaining bitterly of some of the clauses that were taken out. So the questions were there not members, I mean your members, what did they raise?
If you listen to him very well,
right,
you may not ask this question. He was clear that this clause 9
he wasn't aware
was not mentioned, and he challenges everybody who watched the live telecast of the stakeholder engagement if something like this was mentioned. So me, like I told you, I am not a member of the committee. I am not the sponsor of the bill, so I cannot speak to that. But he's saying that it is new, and he used the word was smuggled in. That is the word he uses, was smuggled in. So the question now is, for me as a member of the House, who is not a member of the committee or the sponsor of the bill, I only meet the bill on the floor of Parliament, in the chamber, where the final decision is going to be taken.
Going to be made.
Are you getting that? And indeed, of course, he raised an objection to this. But the point is that the numbers will not survive the objection. My good brother was there. We were taking it clause by clause. He realized that there are some issues here, but you don't have the numbers. When you even propose the amendment to the bill, they will subject it to voting.
And so you lose.
You will eventually lose. You won't win. I don't know if you get the point.
Yes, I understand that
now,
with the numbers.
The entire clause, the entire section 3. The section 3, which is the prohibition against subverting family values. This too. A person shall not directly or indirectly instigate, command, counsel, procure, elicit, solicit, or in any other manner purposely aid, facilitate, encourage, or promote, whether by a personal act or presence or otherwise, an act that subverts the family value defined in section 19 of this act is completely deleted. It doesn't find expression in the new one. 2. A person who contravenes subsection 1 commits an offense and is liable to a summary conviction, to a fine of not less than 750 penalty units and not more than 2,000 penalty units, or a term of imprisonment of not less than 2 months and not more than 4 months, or both. Completely deleted. Completely deleted. So the point for me, like the minority, is clear. We want you and any other person listening to understand that the bill you gave Akufo-Addo to sign
was different.
It's not the same bill you are pushing for Mahama to sign.
Okay.
I don't know if you get
it. I get that perfectly.
If you admit that there are changes according to them and some of the writings that I'm seeing, this one is to enhance the bill. So you knew the bill you were sending to Akufo-Addo was a fatal bill, and you were championing and protesting that Akufo-Addo should sign a fatal bill for the country. What is the logic? So I am surprised that people like you who are journalists is not questioning the hypocrisy.
Well, that's why we brought you in to ask the question. So you let us.
No, the hypocrisy is not on our side. We have been
consistent. I mean, of course, that's what I'm saying. That we need. You were in the house. We need to hear from you.
We have been consistent.
Right.
We have been consistent that you should ask them. So this new rendition, this new definition to premise, movable or immovable, this new rendition, those times when you give your office or your house or your hotel or something out for the promotion of LGBT, you will be charged or you will be sentenced. This one has been redefined. So you knew there was a problem with the definition.
And you still wanted...
Akufo-Addo to sign. You created the impression. Now, the President Mahama makes us understand that the bill never got to President Akufo-Addo. So you knew this. When did you got to know that the bill never got to President Akufo-Addo? Why didn't you say that? And then you created the impression as if the MPP did not want to sign a bill that didn't get to them.
Honorable, we have to go. So let me bring in Honorable Boamah-Nyarko. So we have seen the statement from the minority asking questions. What informed the NDC's change of mind? Why was the earlier bill not reintroduced in the same form? And a lot of questions here, which we are also hoping to get the majority to get some answers from them. But going forward, is there anything, it's passed now, is there anything that can be done about from your perspective as minority?
We just have to be politically consistent. If genuinely you realize that the old law had some fundamental challenges, and so there's a need to revise or review portions, let's say that clearly to the good people of Ghana.
Okay.
That these are matters that needs further clarity upon sober reflection. And then let people know that you took an unnecessary political capital out of it. But this is what now you think is good for the good people of Ghana. I believe that as political leaders, particularly in Parliament, we want to do bills that will save the people of Ghana, and not just bills to situate or to suit our political interest. The whole issue about the LGBTQI is a national clarion call. The nation doesn't want to see any activity that is promoting or enhancing these activities. And then by this law, though we've indicated all the portions that seems to water down the efficacy of that bill, it is my earnest expectation that we monitor it. We continue to educate the good people of Ghana. Let everybody understand that in whatever shape and form we have this bill today, it is something that we are all against it. It is something that both the minority stands for the bill. When we started passing it from clause 1 up to clause 9, we never had any objection until we got to clause 9 when these issues came up for determination. And so we should be very genuine to the people of Ghana. We should say sorry when we think we've done things that are not right.
Okay.
And I think at the end of the day, as a minority, we will continue to expose the level of hypocrisy that the NDC continue to.
Definitely, the majority side do not agree with this. We'll definitely get their thoughts also on this, as my producers have been working the lines to get them. But thank you very much for coming and sharing with us what happened in Parliament. And so we heard from Honorable Nana Asafo-Adjei, is Member of Parliament for Bosomme. We came with all the sheets. This is the evidence of what was presented earlier and what was presented now. And also we hear from Isaac Bawumia, Member of Parliament for Effiang. This is Good Afternoon, Ghana. We're taking a break. When we come back, we're in June already. The World Cup is here. And well, just a quick one on the World Cup. Just a few days to go. Now, the President has mentioned that they're not going to give money, or they're not going to facilitate fans' movement from Ghana to US, Canada, Mexico. Good one, right? It saves us money. Oh wow! But that's what we were talking about. That there are Ghanaians in the diaspora, so let's rather get a ticket for
the minister of this president came to tell us that they are taking about 800,000 or
9,800 per head or so. Yeah.
No, the number they are.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 8,000.
8,000.
Yes.
Right? 8,000.
Yes.
To the states to support the Black Star. He found meaning. It was justifiable, and he put a figure to that effect that one person will cost them this much.
Yes.
So the minister knew, and he was preparing towards it. Was the president not the same person who sat in a ball or a fundraising ceremony or something to raise money to go and support people who were going to watch the ball?
Mm-hmm.
So those who supported Stoneboy and Shatta, who gave $100,000 and all that, would they refund their money to them? That is the point. Is that you tried the embassy, you lost the visas, you didn't get it. So now, to create an impression he cares about the public purse, you didn't get the visas. Your people didn't get it.
That's what it is.
Your people didn't get it. Because you were planning and preparing to raise. I knew members of parliament who were given slots and all that. They didn't get it. So
just a quick one. Just a quick, by a few seconds, there we go.
Yeah, so we wish the Black Stars well.
Right.
And as he said, it is a matter of our inability to facilitate. And I'm very disappointed in that kind of, because most of these things you have to engage at the diplomatic level, to get assurances from the embassies to make sure that at least a good number of your people who are interested in going to watch are given the opportunity. We failed, and we should take responsibility.
So tomorrow when we come back that some Ghanaians were sponsored to go, what will you tell them?
Then we'll question them. Then we'll ask the questions. Thank you very much for coming. This is Good Afternoon. We're taking a break. When we come back, we're beginning the conversations about the World Cup that is happening in USA, Mexico, Canada, right here on the show. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Finding the ideal property shouldn't be a daunting task. At MNC Properties, we believe everyone deserves a place to call home. That's why we specialize in providing affordable housing options under our flagship project, Fresh Property Joy. Specifically designed for low and medium income earners. Our range of customizable homes includes 2 and 3 bedroom standard and executive options, all meticulously crafted using innovative interlocking brick technology. We understand the importance of simplicity and convenience in the acquisition process. That's why we have designed our procedures to be straightforward and hassle-free, offering flexible payment options tailored to your individual needs. In addition to our affordable homes, we proudly offer litigation-free lands for sale in vibrant and upscale communities that present the perfect opportunity to build your dream home. We are committed to making affordable housing a reality, providing you with the joy of owning a home that meets your budgets and aspirations. Whether you're looking to buy, rent, or invest, we've got you covered. Our service team is ready to assist you on 030-255-1917. MNC Properties.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, who be here, Semetra Sapapadia to Amame Manfo, Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is so by, a man is swing, Nesasu Mama Hotoso, a will beg you.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Grab your bottle and unleash the taste of Storm Energy Drink. A bold flavor, a big attitude, feel the vibe, own the moment. It's your time to be different. Storm Energy Drink, make your mark.
Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health, not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advert is FDA approved.
Launching BSc Development Economics at the Ghana Christian University College. Study a job-ready university program, BSc Development Economics at the Ghana Christian University College. Job is ready for graduates who possess degrees and certificates in BSc Development Economics, professional certificate in Theoeconomy, certificate in Theoeconomy with business. Enroll at the Department of Theology and Economics at the Ghana Christian University College, Amrahia, Adenta Dodua Road, Accra. Full bursary is available for BSc Development Economics graduates who study master's program at a state university in South Africa. Enroll now. Take advantage of this opportunity to join elite professionals in economics. Call 0557-351-090 or 0575-633-307 or 030-296-0542. WhatsApp us on 0557-351-090 or you can get in touch online on www.theoeconomy.edu.gh. Powered by the Center for Theology and Economics, CTEC.
Right, welcome back to Good Afternoon Ghana here on Metro Television, and we're going to be talking about the Nooks Rent app, and that's a new app that has been launched by the National Union of Ghana Students. A very, very important one there. You know, the conversations that have come about rent situation among students. We've seen a number of actions already taken, and then we will talk about that and also get into conversations quickly about what is happening in South Africa with the xenophobic attacks and all of that. The Nooks president is here with me, and when we get into stuff, President, President, welcome to Good Afternoon. How are you doing?
Thank you. Very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I've seen a lot of conversations on what you've been doing about the rent situation in the country, to the extent that you've launched an app. How difficult or how easy was it to be able to put that app together, and with the vision that you have for it? Was it a difficult task?
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon to your cherished viewers and listeners, and to the entire Ghanaian students watching us this morning. To answer your question, it wasn't difficult launching it, but the issue is that because of regulatory lapses, all these years, we've had to deal with an issue of rent for a very long time. So since I assumed office, if I've been confronted with about 10 complaints out of the 10, 8 out of the 10 is about rent issues. So quickly, if you could remember, last 2 months, we petitioned the Rent Control Department to actually look into it, because if you look at the Rent Act, they are the regulators. They have a supervisory jurisdiction over supervision of rent in the country. So we petitioned them officially to let them know that this is the issue that Ghanaian students have been confronted with. Arbitrary rent increase. Even some of the hostels are not even well to do. They are not in a good shapes. Yet landlords continue to increase their hostel fees. So it is as a result of this that we put together a petition the Rent Control Commissioner. We outline about 6 grievances that we want the Rent Control to deal with. So if you look at the last grievance that we put before the Rent Commissioner, was the fact that we need an appropriate reporting channel for students to make an official complaint. It is there that he revealed to us that already they would have a system that would take care of that. But at the time that we confronted them, the NUCS or the students' platform was not actually launched. So we proposed to him that we must have a student-dedicated platform that students will channel their complaints of hostel accommodations to. So quickly, the IT department put together their team, and then they worked on that. They've demonstrated it to us. We've seen how it works. So that was a platform that will provide us an avenue, or to serve as an avenue where students would report issues of rent, even issues of sexual abuse, because we have a particular place on the platform that if you are faced with issue of sexual harassment, you would report to. And when you report to that place, it actually sends a signal to the CID department of the Ghana Police Service.
Okay.
We are working directly with them to make sure that we implement this very well.
So this rent app was put together, less than a month, or in just about a month?
Oh yes, less than a month. We put together less than, because the platform was built already. Okay. So it was left with the student component. We proposed that they should add the student component. Yes, that would serve the interest of a student as well. So it is that component that they added. That is a NUCS rent app, rent care unit, to serve the interest of Ghanaian students as well. So basically, the unit is to take care of rent issues.
Okay.
Students who have issues with inappropriate rent increase, unfair treatment from landlords. It is also there to protect the privacy of the person who reports or the victim. If you make a report through the platform, your privacy is well protected. It is issue of confidentiality. Nobody will know the person who actually lodged the complaint. So basically, that is the one aspect of what we launched. The second aspect was also the NUCS Rent Assistance Fund. We want to appeal to the public that NUCS have officially launched a platform, a fund, that we are calling on philanthropists, old students to make donation to it, because there are some of the students that if you even tell them that the hostel price costs 1,000 Ghana cedis, it will be very difficult for them to raise money to pay. So as student leaders too, we took it upon ourselves to launch a fund where we would receive some donation. We are actually partnering with the Universal Merchant Bank. Already they have promised to make some donation, which maybe I will not be able to disclose now, to the fund. They will be the fund managers. The money will not come to the National Union of Ghana Students account. It will sit in the account of UMB. If someone makes an application, we would have a team that will sit down together with the UMB team to assess the truth or otherwise of or genuineness of the person making the application. Then the UMB team will disperse the funds to them. Okay. So that is what we launched: the NUCS rent care unit, and then the NUCS,
the assistance.
Yes, rent assistance fund.
How does anybody get? So you can download it.
Yeah. So it is a website. So if you type the Rent Ghana rent department,
Rent Control Department,
rentcontroldepartment.org.gh.
Rentcontroldepartment.org.gh.
It will come.
Okay.
If it comes, we have a student portal. If you click the student portal, that is where it will serve the interests of students as well. Okay. Yes. Also, we would have the Rent Control Department is also working to register all the hostels in the country. So these hostels we put on the platform.
Okay.
So in case maybe you even need an accommodation, you can go directly to the platform that these hostels are available for booking. Then you can book as well.
Right. So you can get that on rentcontroldepartment.org.gh. You get to the student portal for every Ghanaian student to be able to put out your complaints, any assistance you need with respect to your hostel and the fees that are being charged. You could put that complaints there. And also there is the rent assistance fund.
Yes.
That you could also access. How do they access that one also?
So we are yet to receive the official funding from the UMB. This afternoon, I'll be meeting them as well to see how we can kickstart it. So when we officially receive the donation, we will open application for students who actually need support in terms of the payment of their hostel facilities to make an application. If they make an application, we will look at how genuine your issue is. Then we will
take it from there.
Yes.
Right. As we wrap up on this in just a minute, you've heard from Ghanaian students from South Africa. Have you been receiving calls, anything like that?
Yes, I've not received any calls from there because already the High Commissioner has been dealing with that directly. But what I issued on my Facebook page was to the effect that we have students in South Africa rioting that they need foreign students even out of their school.
Yes.
I think this is not the right thing. I also issued a statement to the fact that we also have South African businesses like Goldfields operating in Takwa and taking a lot of our resources, generating billions of Ghana cedis, expatriating them to their countries to develop their countries. So if South Africans are saying that they want Ghanaian nationals out of the country, it is good that we also advocate for the Ghanaian, the Goldfields mine to be given to a Ghanaian to start with the mining. Because what we are saying is that we are not telling them to leave, but we are appealing to the government. We are telling the government that their lease will come to an end, God willing, next year. It shouldn't be renewed.
It shouldn't be renewed.
Yes, it should be given to a Ghanaian. The Ghanaian will operate it, the profit will remain in the country, and the profit will also be used to establish businesses in Ghana here, so that our brothers and sisters who have been chased out from South Africa, they will come and work in these businesses that will be established by the Ghanaians.
Right. NUC's President Rashid Ibrahim, thank you so much for coming. So students out there, all Ghanaian students, go to rentcontroldepartment.org.gh. The student portal is there. Click on there and then you can put out your complaints regarding your hostel. Also, there will be a point where all hostels will be put on there. So if you're looking for accommodation, you can find that there. And also, when the rent assistance fund is ready, as the president mentioned, you can also have access to it. So National Union of Ghana Students President Rashid Ibrahim was the one I just spoke with. So the World Cup is here. We're going to play a video just showing Ghana's World Cup journey from 2006 till now, as we're going to USA, Canada, and Mexico. The sports team, Phil John Cote, will be joining me, so we'll talk about that. Stay with us. This is Good Afternoon, Ghana.
From the streets of Accra, yeah, the heart beat loud. Red, gold, green when we step in the crowd. History on our shoulders, fire in our eyes. When the black stars shine, the whole world watch us rise. Hands up high to the drum roll sound. Every corner of the nation now. When the whistle blows, we're ready to fight. This is our moment. This is our night.
Before they were the Black Stars, they were the Gold Coast. Empires crossed oceans to take the gold they took the people to. But they could not take the game. Because football in Ghana does not belong to stadiums or television deals. It belongs to the street, to the red dust of Nima, to a boy with no boots, whose mother sold food in the market before dawn, so he could dream after it. South Africa 2010, Africa's World Cup.
Right, so the 2026 FIFA World Cup is upon us. And we're excited about it because it is the biggest thing to happen, every 4 years, right? So we're always excited to have this with us, and we just have a few days to go. Phil John Corte is with the sports desk. He's the host of Sports Direct here on Metro TV. He's joined me here. Phil, good afternoon. And it's here upon us. We've been talking about the World Cup. It's finally in the month of June. But for many people who think that we are everywhere you tune in World Cup, we're talking about World Cup. Why is it such a very, very big deal?
Okay, just before I go on, I was in secondary at the weekend, and my guy said, "Ole ball, wabo." You understand? Ole ball. Okay, the World Cup is very important. It's the biggest sporting event in the world. I mean, that's it. And this time around, the reason why it is very unique is that for the very first time, 3 countries are hosting it. 2 countries have done it before. When Korea and Japan did it, that was way back. But for the very first time, North Africa is hosting the rest of the world. That is how unique it is. For the very first time, 48 countries were competing in the World Cup, including 10 African countries. Remember that when the World Cup started, it was a single African country that went. That was Egypt. It became to 2, it went to 3, 5. Now 10 African countries, including our own Black Stars, will be there. South Africa will be there. Algeria will be there. Morocco will be there. And it'll be very, very fun. Vis-a-vis what is happening with the geopolitics of the World Cup between the United States and Iran, they all play in the World Cup. That's also making it very, very interesting. You all know what is happening globally in the World Cup. So much is going, but the World Cup, like I was saying, is the biggest sporting event, and anytime it's been hosted, all grounds, everything is grounded. The World Cup is focused this time around is in North Africa and North America, and that's why it's quite interesting.
Right, the biggest sporting event. Yeah. Let's talk about the host countries. As you mentioned, we're having 3 countries. Yeah. Someone would ask, how feasible is that? How does that work? USA, Mexico, Canada hosting one tournament.
I told you earlier on that this is not the first time that not a single country hosting the World Cup. It's done before in 2022 when Japan...
2002.
Yeah, and Korea hosted their neighboring countries. And they hosted it. And in North Africa, North America, why am I saying North Africa? North America, we have... even Mexico itself finds itself between South and North America, and they are close. They have the border of the United States of America. So is Canada, because you can stand at Quebec and get to Boston or New York by train. So they are in the same geographical area. That's why it makes it easier. You can just cross borders by train or what we call coach to go to there. So it's not difficult at all. But I think for close about 28 times, every World Cup has been staged by a single country. This is the second time that it's been hosted only by more than a single country. And that is why the United States of America, Mexico, and Canada are doing it. Very, very interesting. And remember too, there's no way, absolutely no way, that a single country now can host 48 countries. Yeah. That would be too much for the World Cup.
That would be a lot, yeah.
Normally, the World Cup lasts for only 3 weeks now because of 48 hours. It's going 6 weeks now. Remember that it's starting on the 11th of June to 29th July.
Yeah.
That's quite...
Yeah. That's quite a long time to have it. So, as you know, for us here on Metro TV and the Ignite Media Group, we have been talking about it. We have been playing the videos, the ads, everything. And it is here. Phil John Corte, the big question is... For us here at Metro TV and the bigger brand as Ignite Media, are we showing the World Cup?
Done deal.
Done deal.
Done deal.
The World Cup is live here.
The World Cup, remember that, even before I talk about whether we are shooting or not, everybody knows that when it comes to football and the Black Stars, it's Metro TV way back. In 2006, it was Metro TV that started this fine diary thing for the rest of Ghanaians. It's still here. The World Cup 2026 to be staged by the United States of America, Mexico, is live on Metro TV, live on Original FM, and live on Original TV. The World Cup is here.
Okay. It is here.
We'll be showing 34 matches to the rest of Ghanaians in the rest of Africa. Remember that we're on DSTV and other channels. So it's not only Ghanaians. We're showing to the rest of the world 34 matches, including the opening, the closing, and some selected matches. Very, very interesting.
Right, so we will be showing 35 matches right here
34, by the way.
On Metro TV, Original TV, and also Original 91.9 FM. So do want to stay with us. But Phil, I understand that we'll be stepping out, with the fans, some viewing centers around town, and all that buzz. And I'm excited about that one also, because when it comes to football, you're watching it outside with the fans. It's crazy. All the emotions, run into it. And so we'll be looking forward to that. So the Black Stars are in Group L, and we've seen the names coming up in terms of the teams that will be playing at the World Cup. So England, our opponent, they released their list. A lot of controversies with that. Croatia also released theirs.
Panama.
And also Panama. Yesterday, Brazil beat them, 6-2 or 7-2 in a friendly match?
Is all part of it?
Well, yeah. So we are also set to play Wales, right? Yeah. We are playing Wales. And the team is almost set with a new coach, Carlos Queiroz. What do we expect for our Group L and the Black Stars?
I think, first of all, we need to expect the final squad today. There are 28 in camps, or 27 now. Unfortunately, Kudus might not go to the World Cup. Remember that it's not even part of the 28 teams, so it's reduced to 26. And by 17 hours GMT, Carlos Queiroz should tell us those who are going to the World Cup, because it is. By 1st June, by FIFA's requirement, you are supposed to present your official list to the World Cup. That's when FIFA will put it on the website. So yes, by the close of day today, the Black Stars head coach, in partnership with his technical team, are expected to give us the 26 players that will be going to the World Cup, and it will come up pretty soon. It will be here first for us to know.
Right.
You're asking a question as to what Ghana can do against our colonial masters, England, Panama, and Croatia. It will be very, very, very difficult of a game to watch. Very, very difficult. Yes, for the very first time, the Black Stars are going to the World Cup. That people are doubting whether their capabilities of making amends at the World Cup. But sometimes when you don't believe in the capability of the Black Stars, that's when they surprise you. You and I know very well that when they're playing the World Cup qualifiers, we're getting
it's a different.
After failing to qualify for AFCON, they say, but if you can't qualify for AFCON, what job are you doing qualifying for the World Cup? But they managed to prove that right. Luckily for us, they have a Portuguese coach who knows it all. I mean, that's it. He's been to the World Cup before several times with the likes of Iran and Qatar. And I think he knows club football very well. So this is a gentleman who knows it all. He can massage. The players are being told, see him like a father or a grandfather who's trying to tell them what to do. Or like a headmistress or a headmaster telling them what to do at the secondary school. That's what you're seeing now. So I'm sure they might try as much as possible to progress wrong by playing for the coach. I think anything at all can happen. Against England, it will be very, very difficult.
So what are we doing for our fans?
Here at Nine Media, I'm talking about Metro TV, Original FM, and Original TV. Remember that the rest of the world will be looking for us, especially Metro TV, to carry it on. That relationship with the Black Stars through the diaries, and we'll be in the United States, be in Boston, California, everywhere. First of all, we'll be in Toronto too. Remember that Ghana will play the first game in Canada. So we'll be in Canada too, and also bring in the sights and sounds of the Black Stars. Anything of the World Cup, we'll bring it to everybody here at Metro TV, Original FM, Original TV. So just look up, starting from next week, even prior to the first game, we start on the 11th of June.
Right, so prior to Ghana's first game, a lot will be happening here on Metro TV, of course, with Metro Sports always coming in. We've been doing that. And on Good Afternoon, Ghana, you've seen a lot of that also here, talking about sports. And then Sports Direct also coming in. We'd have all the other, fun stuff on
That's
TV.
A predict and win issue, so the fans can be part of it. Predict and win. You'll be here right during the World Cup. You just have to answer some few questions. And who knows, you might win a plot of land.
Just predict.
Predict and win. You might win a plot of land. So it'll be very, very interesting here. Everything of the World Cup will be right over here on Nine Media. And very interesting.
You don't have to miss out on that. Yeah. So the World Cup is here on Metro TV, Original TV, and Original 91.9 FM. Of course, on DSTV channel 277. We're live on there. You can join us there also. So, Phil, we're excited. 1st of June, 10 days more to the start of the World Cup. The euphoria is buzzing. Everywhere is crazy for the World Cup.
South Africa will play against Mexico in the first game. That'll be very, very interesting. Remember that 2010, that was the opening match. They're winning the game. Hugo Bruce believes that he can do something against the Mexican. We'll wait and see. The Mexican, they just beat the Black Stars by 2-0 some few days ago. But remember that it's a different ball all game together when they're playing the opening match. Argentina was surprised by the Saudis the last time round, and it could be interesting.
Okay, right. So, Phil, let me put you on the spot. This is what our viewers are supposed to do. Predict the two teams who are going for the final and what the prediction could be like in terms of the results? Out of the 48 teams.
I think the English will go to the finals.
England
will go to the finals.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, but I'm saying,
against who?
Either Spain or France. England will go to the final to play either Spain or France.
And who would win?
There's a likelihood that the 1966 World Cup chains will be broken and English will win.
Okay.
Opinion, they say they like, and that's mine, by the way.
That's yours. That's yours.
Opinion,
So viewers out there, what is your prediction for this World Cup? Predict and win. So 2 countries going to the World Cup, to the finals of the World Cup, and what will be the results eventually? It means that who would win the World Cup? For me,
difficult one.
It's a difficult one, but I think France could get to the final.
I just said France too.
Yeah, France will get to the final. Against which team? I don't see Brazil getting to the final, but I think a South American team will be in the final.
Okay.
It has to be
the arch rivals?
Argentina. I think Argentina will get to the finals again. But France will beat them.
Okay.
And France will win again. The English, the usual. Ghana will do well. For the meaning of that, I don't know what it is, but we will do well. Thank you very much, Phil John Conte, for joining me here. Yeah. Right, so the World Cup Fever is on the 11th of June. It starts right here on Metro TV, Original TV, and also Original 91.9 FM. We'll be coming out there asking you questions about the World Cup, predict and win, and all of that right here. So do also keep it locked right here on Metro TV and across all our social media platforms, and also on Original TV and Original 91.9 FM. My name is Desmond Okrekuta. So kudos to the production team. Many thanks for joining us here. For more news, log on to our website, www.metrotvonline.com. Enjoy the rest of our programs. The World Cup Fever is on. Stay tuned.
With no boots, whose mother sold food in the market before dawn, so he could dream after it. South Africa 2010, Africa's World Cup. Quarterfinal Ghana versus Uruguay, last second of extra time. Luis Suarez raised both hands and caught the ball on the line. Penalty. Asamoah Gyan stepped up, the man who had carried a continent on his back, and hit the crossbar. Anytime I'm alone, he said years later, it still haunts me. The closest Africa had ever come, gone. Mohamed Kudus was 10 years old in Nima, a Zongo, a ghetto, when his coach first saw him play and said, I name him world's best. His mother sold to Ozafi in the market.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
In a time where noise is loud but clarity is rare, one program is changing the conversation. Welcome to the Intelligence Desk. This is not a talk show. This is a working studio. Each week, we break down the biggest national and global issues, from AI and digital transformation to trade,